Hello everybody, it is Wednesday, June 3rd. We're back with the vinyl dive through my collection. Last one on Monday, which definitely was Monday and not Tuesday, was on Peas, and back to one specific artist in the Peas, and it's Alan Parsons, the Alan Parsons Project. Alan Parsons is probably better known as an engineer-producer for some of the great albums and artists. He's worked with the Beatles, Pink Floyd, most specifically on Dark Side of the Moon, which I think most people would probably think of first when they think of Pink Floyd. Roy Harper, The Wings, The Hollies, Steven Wilson, who may not be quite as much of a household name, but if you're into prog music like I am, then you definitely know Steven Wilson. And also Al Stewart. But as far as a band and as a specific musician, Alan Parsons Project was pretty big through the late 70s and the early part of the 80s. I have most of the Alan Parsons Project LPs, although Alan Parsons as a solo artist has continued on to some degree, and he's had a few albums released in the last 10 or 15 years, mostly live albums, and one that was done with an orchestra, which I may have to take a look into. So to go through the collection really quick, Tales of Mystery and Imagination. This is their debut one. Also, sorry, Tales of Mystery and Imagination, Edgar Allan Poe. So definitely falls into that progressive rock type category. Pyramid, Eve, and this is also the one I'm currently listening to. I'll go back to my general complaint about people that put stickers right on the album covers, but this one I'm a little thankful for because the original wrap is still on it, so this one's not so bad. The Turn of a Friendly Card. Hard to read that one upside down. Games people play. Hit on that one, people might recognize. Eye in the Sky, which is the album that I specifically know Alan Parsons from. It has, on side one, it starts with Sirius, which is an instrumental, and I'll come back to that in a second, and then goes right into Eye in the Sky. It's also got Children of the Moon, Step by Step. Lots of ones on that people will recognize. But what most people will probably recognize Sirius from is, if you've watched any sporting event in the last 20 years, there's a really good chance you've heard the song and may not have realized it. In doing a little research, I also discovered that Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, the old professional wrestler, used it as his theme song for a short while, but due to some copyright issues, he discontinued using it, and they created him his own specific entrance song. If you stumble on any old Ricky Steamboat matches, there's a pretty good chance that you will not see, or you will not hear Sirius during those matches. They will cut it out and overdub it with his music. The other place you may recognize it from is, famously, the Chicago Bulls used it as their warm-up song as they entered the court. And more recently, if you watch the Last Dance documentary that was on Netflix about Michael Jordan and the Bulls, then you definitely heard it again. Finishing up, Ammonia Avenue, and then Gaudy. Should have got that one, it was a little trickier on the title. So that's it for Peas, specifically about Alan Parsons. He's a pretty fascinating guy. It's worth digging into his engineering and producing work as well. He's definitely a sort of producer to the great albums of all time. So that's it for the Peas. Back tomorrow with a singular Q, and probably with a good guess you'll come up with that one. So tomorrow will be short and sweet, but we'll be back then. Have a great day, everybody.